Have you ever witnessed a heist being planned in broad daylight, where everyone can see the blueprints, but nobody can stop what's coming? That's exactly what's happening right now with the Los Angeles Lakers and their audacious master plan to completely reshape the NBA landscape by 2027. While other teams scramble for short-term fixes and minor upgrades, the Lakers are quietly assembling the most devastating salary cap strategy in modern basketball history. One that could land them not just one, but potentially multiple generational superstars in a single offseason. But here's where this story gets absolutely mind-blowing. The recent confirmation from Houston Rockets GM Rafael Stone that Milwaukee shut down trade discussions for Giannis Antetokounmpo isn't bad news for the Lakers. It's actually the best thing that could have happened to their championship timeline. Why? Because sometimes the most powerful moves happen when you're patient enough to let chaos work in your favor, while your rivals make desperate moves that compromise their futures. This isn't just another trade rumor or off-season speculation. This is about an organization that's learned from past mistakes and is now executing a championship strategy so methodical and calculated that it makes other front offices look like they're playing checkers while the Lakers are playing three-dimensional chess. Rafael Stone's candid admission that Milwaukee's John Horst shut down trade discussions for Giannis tells us everything we need to know about the current market dynamics surrounding the NBA's most coveted superstars. When Stone says Horst was very clear that they weren't doing anything, he's not just talking about one conversation. He's revealing the Bucks' desperation to maintain control over a situation that's rapidly spiraling beyond their influence. The timing of Houston's inquiry is particularly revealing because it demonstrates how rival Western Conference teams are panicking about the Lakers' long-term positioning. The Rockets aren't just trying to improve their roster, they're trying to prevent Los Angeles from executing a plan that could make them untouchable for the next decade. What makes this rejection even more significant is that it comes despite ESPN's Shams Charania repeatedly reporting that Giannis himself is uncertain about his long-term future in Milwaukee. When a two-time MVP is openly questioning his championship prospects with his current team, and that team is still refusing trade discussions, it creates exactly the kind of organizational tension that typically leads to dramatic changes. The psychological warfare element of this situation cannot be overstated. Every team that approaches Milwaukee about Giannis and gets rejected is essentially being told to wait for free agency, which plays directly into the Lakers' hands. Los Angeles doesn't need to trade assets or compromise their salary cap flexibility. They just need to wait for the inevitable organizational breakdown that forces Milwaukee's hand. Stone's public acknowledgement of these discussions also serves as a warning shot to other organizations. The Rockets are essentially saying they're willing to be aggressive in pursuing superstars, but even they couldn't crack Milwaukee's resolve. This dynamic creates even more pressure on the Bucks to either commit fully to championship contention or risk losing Giannis for nothing in free agency. Giannis's championship questions are becoming impossible to ignore. The most damaging aspect of Charania's reporting isn't just that Giannis is evaluating his future, it's the specific nature of the questions he's asking himself. When a player of his caliber is openly wondering, can I win another championship in Milwaukee? And can I win with this roster? Those aren't casual considerations. Those are the exact thoughts that precede superstar departures. Charania's revelation that Giannis is asking these hard questions not only next season, but in 2026, 2027 perfectly aligns with the Lakers' timeline. While other teams are trying to force immediate trades that would require massive asset expenditures, Los Angeles can simply point to their championship infrastructure and ask Giannis to be patient for 2 more years. The reference to the Damian Lillard situation and Miles Turner trade adds another layer of complexity to Milwaukee's predicament. These moves were supposed to create the championship window that would convince Giannis to stay long-term. But instead, they've created salary cap constraints that make future improvements nearly impossible. The Bucks have essentially mortgaged their flexibility to create a roster that Giannis is already questioning. What makes this evaluation process so dangerous for Milwaukee is that it's happening publicly. When Charania reports that there have been very real conversations over the last week or so about Giannis's future, he's not just sharing inside information. He's documenting the breakdown of organizational confidence that typically precedes seismic roster changes. The timing of these evaluations also works perfectly for the Lakers' strategy. By 2027, Giannis will have had multiple opportunities to see whether Milwaukee can build a legitimate championship contender around him. If they fail, and their current salary cap situation suggests they might, he'll be entering free agency at the exact moment when Los Angeles has maximum financial flexibility and a proven championship infrastructure. The numbers behind the Lakers' 2027 free agency plan are so staggering they almost seem fictional. Having close to $100 million in salary cap space while maintaining a core built around Luka Dončić creates the kind of roster construction opportunity that happens maybe once per decade in professional sports. But this isn't just about having money to spend. It's about having the money to spend at the exact moment when multiple generational talents could become available simultaneously. The 2027 free agent class potentially includes Giannis Antetokounmpo, Nikola Jokic, Stephen Curry, Karl Anthony Towns, Donovan Mitchell, and Anthony Davis. That's not just a free agent class, that's a complete redistribution of NBA power waiting to happen. The strategic brilliance of this approach becomes clear when you consider how it positions the Lakers relative to their competition. While teams like Houston are burning assets trying to trade for stars now, Los Angeles is preserving every advantage for the moment when they can potentially sign multiple superstars without giving up anything except money. The Luka Dončić element adds another dimension that makes this strategy nearly unstoppable. Having a player of his caliber already locked up through 2028 means the Lakers aren't just selling financial flexibility to potential free agents. They're selling the opportunity to join a proven superstar in his absolute prime years. The psychological impact of this strategy on current NBA superstars cannot be underestimated. When players like Giannis are evaluating their long-term situations, they're not just thinking about their current teams, they're thinking about where the best championship opportunities will exist in 2 or 3 years. The Lakers are systematically positioning themselves to be that destination. What makes the Lakers' strategy so potentially devastating is how it could trigger a cascade of moves throughout the league that benefits them regardless of which specific players they ultimately sign. If they land Giannis, it immediately makes Los Angeles a championship favorite and potentially convinces other stars to join at reduced rates for championship opportunities. If they miss on Giannis but land Jokic, they create a completely different but equally dominant team structure that could attract complementary stars who want to play with the best center in basketball. The flexibility of having $100 million in cap space means they can adapt their strategy based on which stars become available without compromising their ability to build a complete roster. The ripple effects throughout the Western Conference would be immediate and dramatic. Teams that are currently building around young cores or making win-now moves would suddenly find themselves competing against a Lakers team with multiple superstars in their prime years. This could force accelerated rebuilds or desperate countermoves that further destabilize the competitive landscape. The Austin Reeves situation adds another interesting wrinkle to this master plan. His reported rejection of a 4-year, $89.2 million offer and preference for $30 million annually suggests he might also be betting on the Lakers' 2027 strategy. If he believes the organization will land multiple superstars, taking a shorter deal now positions him to benefit from that success later. The new ownership element that ESPN mentioned could be the final piece that makes this strategy irresistible to potential free agents. Combined with the Los Angeles market appeal, championship infrastructure, and unprecedented salary cap flexibility, the Lakers are creating a recruiting pitch that might be impossible for superstars to refuse. This master plan represents everything that makes the NBA's superstar-driven era so compelling. The intersection of salary cap strategy, player psychology, and organizational vision colliding in ways that could determine championship outcomes for the next decade. The Lakers aren't just planning for 2027. They're engineering a competitive advantage that could dominate the league for years beyond that. The question now isn't whether this strategy will work, it's whether other organizations will figure out how to counter it before it's too late. With each passing month that brings us closer to 2027, the Lakers' position becomes stronger while their rivals' options become more limited. Are you as blown away as I am by the sheer audacity of this long-term master plan? Or do you think the Lakers are taking too big a risk by waiting for free agency instead of making moves now? Drop a like if you're already imagining what a Giannis Luka Lakers team would look like, and tell me in the comments which superstar you think would be the perfect addition to make this the most dominant team we've ever seen.